is our analytics presentation. I'm John.
My name is James. And you might think to yourself, we already did a project like this, but me and John liked Perplexity so much that we decided to continue that and continue building our model.
All right, so we all did this. So as we know, the project was designed to help students and faculty with advising questions. So our plan was to go to the Bethel website and just gather any information that would pertain to advising and dump them into PDFs that would be later uploaded to Perplexity. So ultimately, we were trying to reduce the advisor's workload as well as just give students the opportunity to, have their questions answered any time of the night. And then we would export this by having, it's kind of like Google. If you have the link, you can access it. So that's how we would share it with students and faculty. So for our initial plan, since we got assigned this a week after we all did the project, we basically just went into our Perplexity, which we only had the 1 month trial for, and moved it into Whiting's account, which he has the paid subscription for. So we just basically dumped all the files in and all of our custom instructions in, and within 5 or 10 minutes, the model was fully running the way we had it in our project. So yeah, that's how we did it.
So, like all projects, we eventually ran into a problem. And so while using Whiting's account, for some reason when we shared it with our personal emails from Bethel, we were unable to add documents to the model, to this new model, and also change the formatting that we've put in on our first model. And so we worked on this for quite a while, and the solution we eventually got to was that I sent all my documents over to John, who had Whiting's account on his computer, and that way he got both my documents and also all that. The second problem is this new model. For some reason, even when it had all of the links, all of the files, all of the same formatting that we told it before, it would spit out different results than our first model. We spent also quite a bit on this, trying to figure out why it's doing this differently, and it's something we could never find out, even though it should have been the same. We followed all the steps we did before, and we just could not figure out why Perplexity was giving different answers than our first model.
So you trained it in your environment and it worked one way. You trained it in my environment and it didn't work the same way, even though you trained it the same way.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying, just making sure
Yeah.
everyone. Okay.
And then eventually we just gave up on the idea of making it our first model. And we wanted to just try to get the correct information out there in the first place. But then we ran into problem 3, which problem 3 was the model gave us different results depending on who was asking the questions. For our first model, you would put in, we're gonna give some examples here, but you put in something and it would spit out that same thing every time. For this model, we would put in one thing, it would spit out one thing for the first user and spit out a second thing for the second user. So
Yeah. So in Whiting's account, we asked the same prompt, just copy and pasted what are the prereqs for BUS417, which is this class. And it said analytics, project management, and all core classes except for internship, and then it listed what some of those are. So to my understanding, this is still correct. I know the catalog changed since, but
Right, but it was correct at that moment.
right.
With
This is
the data
the correct answer.
Yeah.
When we shared the link and went in an incognito window, it went to Walsh University and Baptist College, which is just clearly not even remotely close to what we were looking for. And then I prompted it no, for Bethel, use the files I gave you, is what I said. And it spat this out. So it got part of it right. I don't think BUS417 is a class.
I don't know what that is. Yeah,
and senior standing, I think that might
that is correct. You have to
Yeah.
have senior standing. Yeah.
Yeah, and then typically after this ring. So, it's better than University, but it's obviously still not what we were looking for.
there is a way on Perplexity to turn off web searching, and that's what we did on both of these models, but even then the second model, or this new model, just completely did not listen to that and continued to take from the web even when we gave it adequate sources to take from.
And you didn't turn off the web when you were in the account and it worked right. Is that-
Right.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. And our final problem that eventually broke this project was time. Registration was coming up, and we had spent so much time figuring out how to just make our model the same that we eventually ran into the problem of advising had already come and passed, and nobody could actually use our model anymore. So that is basically the final problem.
Yeah, so just kind of as an overview, like the tool works. Eventually we were able to kind of train it on Whiting's account where it was able to get most of the information right. But the issue is just you really can't scale it up to give it to other people without giving them the login. And then if they have the login, they can alter the files, and obviously we don't want like 500 people all using Whiting's login. So yeah, outside of that, Perplexity Pro is $20, so that's just the cost. We all get one free, but obviously that would get used up. And then for this, we kind of just decided Perplexity wouldn't be the right choice for now. You just can't scale it, so it's not worth it.
Same with the project earlier, we found that maybe ChatGPT would have won out.
Yeah.
Wasn't the concern with ChatGPT that you, in order to use a tuned model, you have to have the pro account?
Yeah.
Or has that changed since then? Because everyone's tweaking their pricing. Can you share a ChatGPT model that you tune to other people that can use a free account to use that tuned model?
So at the time, I thought the answer was no. But even with Perplexity, you can use it, but it, like Walsh University was the output it gave. So
Right.
it's really not that good. And it washes, I think there might be a slide on it, maybe not. It washes all the settings. So when we turn web browsing off and the custom instructions, like you kind of have to go in and like mess with that on like the incognito window.
Oh, for that person. You
Yeah.
can't set it to say everyone who's using this link, don't let them use the internet.
No.
The person has to know they have to
Right,
change
yeah.
those settings individually,
Yeah.
or they would get really bad answers instead of just bad answers.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that is when we moved into our second project, which is GoHighLevel. What is GoHighLevel, you might be asking? It is a CRM tool and basically all-encompassing marketing platform used by different consulting businesses and service-based business, where it consolidates various marketing, sales, and automation tools into a single platform, which makes it easier to do basically most aspects of business. Which this is our now second project where me and John split it up, and I worked on the social media aspect of this business, and John worked on the furnace repair side of this business.
Yep. So for GoHighLevel, I did the furnace side, or it's like a frame cleaning business. And so I just kind of created a workflow. So it starts off with a lead intake, which is just captured from the website or a form. It's kind of like Zapier. You can kind of choose how you get your information. From there, it routes it to the job assignment. So it pulls your team members or employees, and it's based on location and schedule. So you can connect it to GCal. And then for location, I had in like the lead intake, like your zip code. So it'd be like if zip equals X assigned to employee A. That's kind of how it works. From there, it gets sent back to the customer, an appointment is made, and then the employee has the information too, so it's all set up, and then it's all connected with GCal, so that's what we would do.
And then for the social media side, I just wanted to print out something that I found that GoHighLevel could do, is so you could track, like, you put campaigns out on other platforms such as like Facebook, Instagram, other like social media platforms, and then you could track their progress, such as like how many clicks you are getting and like the click-through rate. And you can also build landing pages for those ads where you don't want to just have someone click on something and don't have it go anywhere. So GoHighLevel lets you build those landing pages and have like giveaways and other stuff like that. You can also put in automated follow-ups where if they buy something from your website, or if they click on it, you can say, have them like receive an email or like a text message and just be like, hey, this is thank you for visiting our website, hope to see you again. You can also manage all your like communication through GoHighLevel. You can manage like DMs or like reviews and like emails from your coworkers. You can also create dashboards of those statistics, so it's not just single statistics, but you can also put it into one page and make it all clean and nice. But the one thing that I found that would make it bad for social media is that you cannot automate ads. Like if you make ads and then you put it into GoHighLevel, you cannot automate them to say, okay, go out like once a month, like create, or you can create ads, but you can't send it out or automate the sending out. You need to do that manually, which I feel like takes away a big side of the social media site, and it did say was a lot of automation, which feels like this would not work for that. And then just our final review, GoHighLevel, we've both seen that it seemed a little bit too grand for the type of businesses that we've looked at, and it does not have a free plan. So plans range from $97 to $500 a month, and it does have a free trial for about 30 days.
I hope it's 30 days, otherwise I'm out $97.
But yeah, we do not think GoHighLevel would be good for these aspects of business. Maybe if you wanted to bring your business into GoHighLevel and then like use GoHighLevel to run the entire business, then it would maybe seem like a fair trade-off for like the $97 per month. But we just noticed that there are many other like free options, such as like Zapier, that would allow you to do many of the aspects that we would need to do, but for not the $100 charge.
That's it.
You said there's free options, Zapier, but Zapier has a limit to the number of Zaps that you can do per month. If you were like did you actually set up that workflow that you talked about?
Yeah, I didn't get it fully working.
Some of it, like
But,
what parts did you get working in that?
So like if we go back, I didn't like create employees. I just like kind of like had the logic built out.
Yep.
And same with the GCal, like I wasn't like actually scheduling it. I was just kind of like getting it set up to like what it would look like.
But if you can imagine, that if you don't have a tool like this, you'd have to have Bernice or Brad or someone doing all of that. Do you think that you could build enough automations that the $97 a month is way cheaper than how many hours a week to do all that scheduling?
Yeah, I think GoHighLevel would be good. It's from just what I've researched, it's really good in like service industries, which obviously the like furnace cleaning is.
Right.
So I think, if he wants to bring in his CRM and do marketing through there, and then obviously do the automations and kind of get fully set up there, I think that would be worth it. I don't know the specifics of Zapier. Obviously the free, there's a limit, but I'm guessing there's a cheaper version, and I think that would be just better for the purposes that we did. If he wants to, get more into the weeds, obviously there's that, but just for the projects that we did, I think Zapier would be cheaper, and to be honest, easier. GoHighLevel isn't the most like.
It's so complex.
Was it drag and drop to do things, or was it kind of like MuleSoft where you had to have code snippets and things like that?
There wasn't code.
It was just drag and drop.
For the workflow, yeah.
And then you had to authenticate to your GCal, and then it knows everything on your calendar and can create calendar events and won't schedule over something that already exists. You give it logic to say like how much free gap time between meetings.
Yeah.
So all that kind of logic is in there.
It was overwhelming. The amount of
I mean, I
options they had.
was working on this last night, and I still found new things to add to this from last night, and it's just so overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like I feel like something smaller would be so much, or GoHighLevel would help with a lot of things, but it take a while to like realize its full capabilities.
Yeah.
And actually get it to do what you want it to do.
What were you able to generate similar? Like, were you able to generate steps within GoHighLevel? I mean, go back to the other one, the social media.
There aren't really. It's a lot of like single stuff. So I mean, sure. I bet if you played around with it a little bit more than I did, you could find a way to like automate some of this stuff. But a lot of this is just like the single things that you set up on its own, and like managing DMs and like automated follow-ups. I mean, you could maybe
I mean, could you easily send a text 24 hour or 4 hours after the service and thank them and have them do a survey?
Yeah,
Would that be a, you know,
you'd be able to do that, but I mean, that's just, I feel like that's just one side of like the whole social media thing. And I feel like if you're just doing it for like this and like social media, then it wouldn't be worth it. But if you added on like another aspect of business, not just the marketing by itself.
all right, let's give them a hand. Okay, make sure you cancel your account, any of you who created an account.
I